Guys, what we're going to talk about in here, guys and girls, is a concept from a book I wrote probably 5 or 6 years ago called Person of Interest. And I want to start this because when I started my business, I got a lot of advice about how to grow a business. How many of you, when you started your real estate practice, you went to people and they gave you a lot of advice? And some of that was good advice, and some of that was very bad advice. So, for example, this is some of the advice that I think you'll get when you first start your real estate business. If you're interested in growing, you got to call 100 people a week or more, because it's a contact sport. You got to hand out business cards to everybody without creating value. You got to join the local chamber. How many times have you heard that? And basically, selling is this game of chasing. Chasing leads. Chasing people. Trying to convince people that you are good enough for them. Well, when I come out of the gates, I basically said, how do I build a business where I'm not chasing? Where I'm actually attracting people to me, right? A lot of it has to do with building that dynamic state I talked about in there and being someone that brings energy. See, when you look up the word power, like if you want to be a person of power and influence, one definition of power is a means or source for supplying energy. Right? I want my real estate agent to be a means or source for supplying good energy for me. Not bad energy. Not static energy. Not lazy energy. Like I want that agent to bring something. Well, I went out and did all of this, and this is important to growing a business. It is a contact sport, right? But typically as a coach, I never tell a person to make 100 phone calls a week. I typically say, can I get you doing 3 to 5 things a day to grow your business? Because 3 to 5 a day is 15 a week, 60 a month, 720 a year. So I try to get you to take action, but I want you to be more strategic about the action you take. And so here's what they should have told me. Here's what I really wanted to know. If you want to grow your business, I want you to understand something. Money only changes hands when problems are solved. The bigger the problem, the more money people pay to solve it. So you can solve a $179,000 problem, a $300,000 problem, or a $1.2 million problem. Everybody with me? Still the same problem. And I got to get your mind thinking that you have a very special skill set that solves other people's problems. Like I remember my first real estate problem that I had is I was 21 years old and I wanted to move out of the house, out of my mom's house, and I wanted to move into an apartment. And I moved into a crappy apartment complex. Anybody ever done that before? Like I thought I was doing something good, and I moved into a crappy apartment complex called Colony House in Murfreesboro, and I was going to college at MTSU. And man, this was this little crappy apartment complex, and it was all good while I was in college. But then I became the head coach. Now I got to get up every morning. Now I'm out of college, and I got to get up, and I got to go to work, and I got to be up at 5:30, 6 o'clock every day, and I got a problem. You know what my problem is? Somebody living above me, in the apartment above me, is running a business. It happens at night, and there's a lot of music. Now you go figure out what it was. I don't know what it was, but you can figure that out. I couldn't sleep. So now I got a problem. What stat did I give you in there? 67% of people do what? And that's exactly what I did. I asked one friend, I want to buy my own condo. Who should I use? You know what he said? Use this guy. I didn't ask one question. Is he good? How many homes has he sold? I was a little 22-year-old, and I just used the very first person, and I bought a $119,000 condo. And I loved that little condo. 2 bedrooms, loved it. But then, as I began to mature a little bit and get a little bit older, what do I say? Now I got a new problem. What is it? You know what? I really want my own house. So the first agent who sold me the house never called me back once he put me in the home. So within a few years, I buy my second house. He could have got that commission too, but he falls in the category 98% agents never call me back. So he didn't call me back, right? Because he didn't call me back, I started asking, well, who else do I need to use, right? And if he did send me something, he sent me an email or he would send me a pumpkin on Halloween. I don't want a pumpkin on Halloween. You understand what I'm saying? He'd send me crappy emails. He would send me a database blast that said, here's the absorption rate of your subdivision. Listen, a 23-year-old does not know what absorption rate means. You understand what I'm saying? So in his mind, what was he doing? He was following up. In my mind, he was not following up. What he should have been doing was calling on me, coming to my basketball games. How's it going? How can I help you? You understand what I'm saying? So I go buy my second house, and I go buy a second house, right? Then I say, you know what? Now I want to build my own house. So then I build a custom, and every house I'm going up in commissions. He could have got, right? So I built this nice little custom house, perfect for a bachelor. I mean, it was the ultimate bachelor pad. I loved it. And then I got married. And then I had a new problem. My wife one day says, what? I know you love this house. And I know you've designed it for a bachelor. But this house is not really appropriate for children. See, now I got a new problem. Now we go out and we look for a new house. So by 41 years old, I've already bought 4 houses. Exactly like the stats say. Now think about that first little real estate agent that got my business. Every house got bigger. Everybody with me? Because that's a natural trend people do. So he could have got a commission on all of them, but he never followed up. So here's how I want you thinking. You have a unique skill set. This is really what you're selling. And I want you to think of a unique skill set like this. I take very complicated things and I make them simple. I take the complexity out of real estate. I take something that is very stressful and I take the stress out of it. Okay? I can negotiate. I have a deep network of people. I can market this house better or more creatively than anybody else. Everybody see what I'm going with this? This is your skill set. Your skill set solves my problem. So part of becoming a person of interest is becoming known in the market for being very good at solving a problem. Everybody follow me here? So hey, so let's just take this example. Let's say I have a property I need to sell fast. In my market, Middle Tennessee, I know the agent I would call if I need to move a property fast. That's her reputation. She can move a house faster than anybody else. How she does it, I don't know. I don't care. I just know if I want to sell one of my rental properties and I need to sell it fast, I call her. I've got another agent I use who does better at regulating emotion, negotiating on my behalf. So anytime I use him. See how they're becoming known? So I want you to remember this. A person of interest is famous for something. Famous means known, renowned, or celebrated. And what I'm trying to get you to do is separate yourself. So what you've got to do is you've got to become known for something. So I want you to take a second right now, and I want you to write down, what do you think you're known for in this market? What is your reputational capital? Okay? What are you known for? And if you're not known for anything right now, we got to start getting you to think like that. Because how many agents are in the Knoxville market? Thousands. So if you don't become known, so just think about this. Money follows attention. The agents that get the most attention make the most money. Even if they're not that good. There are agents that market themselves into appearing to be good only to use them and they're not any good. Right? It don't matter. You know why? It's all perception. It is all perception. And you can build your perception, hence build your value. So what do you think you're known for? Take a second, tell the person beside you, I think I'm known for this. And if you don't know, if you don't know yet, we got to work on that. Because that's the first step to being a POI, right? Take a second and tell them beside you what you think you're known for. You're really good, but you're the best kept secret in Knoxville. And this goes against what my mama taught me, by the way. I was raised by a single mom, had me when she was 16. She always told me not to get attention. She used to say, son, you go to that party and you be seen, but don't you dare be what? Heard. She also told me not to talk to strangers. How many of you sell to strangers every day? Yeah. Y'all are all strangers to me. So I went back to Mama when I turned 41 and I said, boy, I sure do love you, Mama. But some of that advice you gave me was all wrong. We laugh about it today. Because I'm like, now I grow my business by talking to strangers every day and getting attention. These are people, new people. I've got people that are in my pipeline I'm trying to close. I've got clients, and I'm doing this every day. And that's calculated activity. I'm not just waking up and saying, I hope it works out today. I'm very specific about this. So I'm not telling you to call 100 people. I'm telling you, let's wake up and let's get very clear. Let's wake up and let's get very clear about who we're tackling every day, okay? Money follows calculated activity, right? So how many of you think you're not getting enough attention in the market right now? That's part of your problem. You're just unknown, right? People of interest are known for something. Once I know what I'm going to become known for, now I go out and I push that out to the market. When I don't have confidence, guess what I won't do? There's a whole list of things I will not do if I don't have confidence. I don't want to get on the phone, so I have call reluctance. There's a term for that called creative avoidance. And what agents do is they know they should be on the phone calling out, but they find creative things to do other than do it. So they creatively avoid it. Why? Really because you don't want to be rejected. Here's what I would tell you. There is no such thing as rejection. Let's get it out. Let's get it on the table. They may not want what you have, but somebody else will. Okay? And my story is at 25 years old, I fell in love with a high school sweetheart that I thought I was supposed to marry. And I bought an engagement ring, had to take out a credit card to go buy an engagement ring. And I put it in a lockbox. And between the time I bought the ring and I was going to give it to her, she broke up with me. And I was devastated. And I remember meeting her for lunch, and I said to her, and I knew what was going to happen, because you know when they're going to break up. You know what I'm saying? And so I stopped by the bank, and I got the ring. And I take this ring in my pocket, and we sit down at this restaurant, and the very first words out of her mouth was, "Michael, I love you, but I don't love you enough to marry you." And I was so weak at that moment. This was 16 years ago. I was so weak at that moment with such little confidence. Guess what I said? I said, well, how much do you have to love another person to marry? Because I know a lot of people that are married that don't love each other. Now, see how pitiful this was? And so we break up. I have to take the engagement ring back, which was a heartbreaking moment. And they ask you when you take it back. They're like, now why are you bringing this engagement ring back? I'm like, I will punch you in the face right now. Why do you think I'm bringing it back? It's called a broken engagement, right? So during this period, this is valuable. I want you to know this because I became incredibly depressed, clinically depressed. And I was a head coach, so I had to fake. So for 6 months, lose a bunch of weight, the typical thing people do when they break up. I'm clinically depressed. I'm trying to stay motivated. I'm at a real low moment. And I walked out of that scenario, and I had a couple things I said. I will never let another person control my confidence again. That was one big thing I said. And I actually wrote a book on this called Swag. And it's about how you build, maintain, and protect your greatest asset, your confidence. And during this period of time, another person came along to me who was this beautiful Italian woman named Octavia Fontana. And she was 10 years older than me. And here's what she said to me. She said, the way you're looking at this is all wrong. She said, you're looking at this as if she rejected you, but she didn't. She may want something different than what you have, but there will be lots of people that want exactly what you've got. She said, you need to get rid of this concept of rejection. Now, isn't that good advice? Yes or no? Yes. Now, fast forward. Now, when you don't want what I've got, or you don't like it, or people give me negative feedback, or I call on a person and they're not interested, or I get negative comments on my videos or whatever. See, now I'm like this. It's okay. Some will, some won't. So what? There is no such thing as rejection. Now, you know how freeing that is when I call out to a stranger? See, I've already made up my mind you can't reject me. Don't matter. You may not want what I've got, but you may. Right? And there's 7 billion people on planet Earth. I'm going to find enough people that want what I got. Okay? There may be a few on Mars too. We don't even know. So my point is, when you're looking at this ingredient, I want you to really diagnose, this is an area I'm a little deficient in, but that's okay, right? Because we can get better at these things, all right?